Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Dr. Shubha Jyoti and today I just wanted to give some advice to 10th and 12th students who are going to be giving their board exams or someone who is preparing for these exams. So I still remember how in my 12th standard boards, just before the exams, I was very panicked before the physics and maths papers because it was something I struggled with a lot, and it felt like the end of the world because I couldn't understand anything. I didn't know how I'm going to get through. I just did not know. And so just remembering that, I can understand the kind of situation that this is for the 10th and 12th students. And so I just decided there's something I wish someone had told me when I was giving these exams. So first of all, I want to tell you that it's okay to be scared, to be panicky, and to be very anxious about these exams because it's a very different pattern. Okay, this is not something that you have done in your entire life. Your entire life, you've been in school. Okay, it was where the teachers who taught you, who you learned from, were the teachers who set up your exam paper, who were your invigilators, and they were the ones who corrected your papers. They were the ones who were marking you on those. So it didn't feel a foreign kind of a feeling, right? But when it comes to the boards, it's different because you are going to be going to a different exam center altogether. You'll be invigilated by different people, unknown people. You will be marked on by different people, right? Completely unknown people, people who you will never meet, right? So that is very different and very panicky kind of situation to think of. Like, as someone who has not been to a situation like that, it is very normal to be scared, to feel very different, to feel like it's a very difficult thing to do. So it's okay. That's the first thing. That's the first advice I would like to give these students. Secondly, I would like to say for kids who are very scared to fail, for kids who are very scared to fail, it's very rare that they will fail someone. The board will try to pass you. Okay, they are in your favor. It's a very basic examination. Okay, and they want to pass most of the kids. I have not seen anyone fail. It would be very rare. But if you really want to talk about it, I think if they really fail someone, it would be someone who is leaving a sheet of paper completely blank. If you do that, they can't help you. They cannot protect you. Nobody can protect you with that. So, my advice would be just fill the pages. Like for me, also, I have given MD and DNB both of the exams for anesthesia. And the DNB exam is comparatively difficult to crack. And I remember I've not studied for this exam. I am not lying at all. But what I did was fill the pages. So, to be quite honest, what I've learned all these years is from your 10th to whatever exam till now, whatever I have given, what I've realized is just fill the pages. Do not leave the pages blank. Even if there's a question that you do not know, you've not read about it, there must be some related topic that you must have read, something that you can make up, okay, something that you know. Just write those things. Okay, that's something that I did all my life and I was able to pass all my exams. Okay, MBBS, PG, everything. So it's something that actually works. Also, I would like to say that manage your time really well. I have seen those kids who just cry at the end of the examination that I was not able to finish the question. And I don't realize, I don't understand how. Like, I have always been able to manage my time, and I have not been a very great student. I was never the toppers, but I've always managed to pass my exams with all right scores. Not very great, but all right scores. And it's not because I studied very well. It's not because I was an excellent student. It was because I knew the tricks. It was because I knew how to handle these exams that got me through with decent marks. So that's what I'm telling you. You need to fill the sheets. You need to manage your time properly. And how do you do that? You pay attention to the questions that carry more amount of marks. Okay. So the questions that have more marks, attempt those first. you know according to the marks how much you will be writing for these questions. I used to leave the pages for these questions. Like what they do, I know they give you the least important questions in the beginning, and then they say you have to write it in that same order, right? That is what happens. They will give you the questions, the least amount of marks initially, the more amount of marks questions later on, and they will say you have to write it in order. That's what happens. So what I used to do, I used to have a rough idea, and this is important, you should have a rough idea of how much you will write for each question. Have a rough idea, because for a 2 or 3 marks question, you cannot be writing a lot of pages. So you need to have that rough idea of how much I will be writing for each question. So if your least amount of marks questions are in the beginning, leave the rough amount of pages that you've decided, leave those pages, and then attempt the higher marks questions first. Put your brain there first. That's what I used to do. First, concentrate on these questions that fetch you more amount of marks, okay, and then come to the questions that have lesser amount of marks. That's number one. Number two is concentrate on questions that you know. Okay, like I said, you need to fill the sheets, but don't randomly go about doing that. Like, for example, if you have a question that weighs more amount of marks, but you don't know about it. So there might be 3, 4 questions with, say, about 10 marks. Okay, but attempt the questions that you have read first, and then come to the question that you have not read but you have to attempt somehow. Okay, so initially attempt the questions that you know that you've read, and then come to the questions that you don't know about but you need to still attempt with whatever knowledge that you have. All right, that's number two. So that's my way of dealing with exams, and I think it's relatable to most of the kids in the boards and in most of the exams that are written based exams. I think it works. Okay, so this is something that you can use. And thirdly, I would like to also stress this, that it's not the end of the world. My dad said this to me when I was crying really badly the day before the physics examination, and it was a really bad situation for me because I was panicky. I could not understand a single word that was written. I had studied the whole year, but the previous day I was broken down. And my dad just comforted me. He said, it's not the end of the world. Even if you fail, it's okay. We will do something about it. We'll find a way. And that's what I want that parents should understand. It's a very stressful situation. It's a lot of pressure for the students. Okay, in the school, the teachers have put it in their minds, and the parents also put some pressure on the kids that this is what will set your life. And to some extent decide it does decide what you do ahead in life, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, and it does not completely dictate the life of your kids, and you know that as well, right? So it's okay. Help them, comfort them, motivate them, be with them, support them in these situations, because I can understand there's a lot of pressure. So please be there for them. Okay. And also, I would like to say that your 10th and 12th marks actually do not matter later on in life. Like, what I know is, in my CV, I think I do mention it, but nobody actually pays attention to those marks. Nobody cares. Not even the MBBS marks, nobody sees. Actually, later on in life, it's how you work and your personality that actually matters. But I would not say that it's completely negligible. Like, I scored a CGP of 10 in 10 standard, and it was around 92%. And in my 12th, I scored around 86%, which was a decent score, not very great, because my the topper in my class was about 95%. So it was not a very great score. But what I want to say is that did not dictate my career in a way that I had to give entrances. I gave NEET UG and I gave MHCET at that time. And that dictated my future actually. And these days, for all the careers, what I see is there's a lot of entrances that are going on. That's the norm now. So it's not just the 10th and 12th marks that matter. Not everything is going to be dependent on that. I think the entrance exams have an eligibility criteria where uh, they set a like a decent amount of marks as the eligibility, and that's just to see that the kid has put in some amount of hard work, and that they can work this much to get this much amount of marks to be eligible for that exam. So the eligibility criteria for these entrance exams will not be very high. It will be average only, not very high. So it's okay if they score a decent amount of marks. If the 10th, 12th kids score decent amount of marks, it will be all right. So I just want to say to the parents and the teachers and the kids as well that it's all right, it's okay. Please be there for each other. The parents need to be there for the kids, the teachers need to be there for the kids. Do not pressure them, do not put them in a state where they have to be in too much of stress, because this is the time to actually find out what they are going to be doing ahead, and there's a lot of things going on in their life at this point of time other than the studies. So help them with this phase, and hopefully the message is reached. If you do find this video helpful, send it to someone who might need to hear this, and I'll see you for another video.